Today on The Warehouse, a musician making, in her own words, bombastic soundscapes using experimental methods. This is Crippling Roseus with Vendetta Flawless. All of the music in today's episode was provided by Crippling Roseus. I really wish I had more than 15 minutes because she provided me with a 40-minute interview for this show. I'm going to let her do most of the talking. She uses whatever she has and does whatever she wants in order to make something that has never been made before.
How do you make music? And the answer to that is I scream. I scream so loud to the Himalayan mountains, and I never return. Much like my father on that rainy, stormy night. No, but he in all seriousness, I make music off of my 2DS. I actually have two of these things, because there's a lot of really powerful music software that's on here. And I also, through this platform as well, there is Korg, which is insane that they put probably one of their strongest synthesizers of the 2000s on the 3DS and also on the DS respectively. And I also use this other program called Plankton, or Singing Plankton, I believe is what it's called. It's something, but it's like an old like DS thing that kind of like uses like these plankton thingies to kind of make sound bites and stuff. I also have a steel tongue drum that's like called Rhizome, that I use a lot too. I try to limit my like DAWs on Audacity, Adore, and Ableton. But that doesn't always happen, because life, it gets busy, and, luckily you have phones these days, which I hate my phone, but, it's a thing that can record audio, and it does it relatively well. It kind of actually adds, like, some nice, like, chill compression to it that makes it a little easy to chip out every now and then. I also have a guitar. I don't really play it that often, but I have used it in, like, a lot of sampling in the past, and it's always a fun time. So yeah, I kind of have like a little bit of everything and a little bit of everywhere, and yeah, that's kind of how I make my music. And it's always going to be a very strange phenomenon being known as the person that makes all of her really hardcore music, and also these very interesting like soundscapes off of a 3DS. Oh, and also a Vita. I forgot about my Vita.
That was Crippling Roseus talking about some of the tools and methodology that she uses making her music. And we're going to play another song from her called Wake Up. And I gotta tell you, this one feels like something I've heard in a fever dream. Enjoy. And we're back with Crippling Roseus, who had a complicated start with music.
Believe it or not, when I was really young, I actually hated music. I went out of my way actually to not listen to music. So it's very interesting that I'm at a point in my life now that I'm making it, and what got me into it. So my friends approached me and he was like, "Hey, I kind of want to make like this cool narrative approach thing." He approached me and he was like, "Hey, would you be interested in like writing some of the stuff for this?" And I'm like, "Sure." And so I fired up Smile Basic of all programs, which to this day I still don't understand what possessed me to even start the project on there. I actually discovered that there's this weird music macro language that it has, and I got like really familiar with it, and I was like, "Hey, I know that you were supposed to be the one that kind of was like in charge of like that kind of thing, but I kind of want to like try my own hand at this." And he was like, "Okay, cool, go for it." And so I did. Unfortunately, I don't actually have those tracks anymore because, believe it or not, and surprise, surprise, this was a program that was on the 3DS, and the device that I had at the time I no longer do because I was like 13 or 12, somewhere around there at the time. But ever since then, I kind of like fell in love with music, and then I kind of got into the vaporwave scene of all things. And now I make erotica eco jam, which is an interesting music genre to say the least. For those who don't know what eco jam is, it is essentially the process of taking a 6 to 10 second sample of like vocals or any part of a song that's like very like ear jammy, and then looping that over a very progressive melody that also loops in on itself eventually. So you get like this weird ethereal feeling to it, and it's like something that's like very enchanting.
And sound isn't her only artistic media. She is a visual artist and a playwright, and has big plans for the future.
I actually have my own collective that I'm like trying to get off the ground called Teamnistic, and it is a collective of artists from pretty much everywhere. Whether you're a musician that's like a noise musician, or like an artist that is just experimental, or like somebody that's a little bit more grounded, such as like a folk dancer, or just like a web designer. I'm trying to like get like a bunch of people like all over the place to kind of like contribute like a one-off type of thing and the collective, and just like have it be there. And if you're interested in actually joining the Team Mystic collective, let me know. You can find me on Instagram under the handle at Quinsov, which is not spelled the way that it actually sounds, which I kind of made that mistake, but it is spelled QNERZ0F. Um, and yeah, you can like shoot me a message over on Instagram. And yeah, definitely get in touch with me. Do the things. Have fun. Don't stress yourself out, because that's not the point of art. And yeah, this is Crippling Roseus signing off, and thank you so much for having me. And I hope you enjoy the weird, bombastic soundscapes that I make. And yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode of The Warehouse with Crippling Roseus. If you would like to be featured on an episode of The Warehouse, shoot me an email at shatteredviewmusic@gmail.com, or you can get in touch with me on Instagram at SpazDragon. I am your host, SpazDragon. This has been The Warehouse on WDRB Media, and we're going to end today's episode with one more from Crippling Roseus. Buckle up for this one, guys. It is quite bombastic. This is Vivo by Crippling Roseus.